and welcome to FreePod. I'm Becky Connors.
And I'm Tim Connors.
In this week's episode, the Freeport Fire Department promotes new leadership.
An Iowa legislator proposes making Joe Daviess County a part of the Hawkeye state.
And Arctic Ale and Art Walk provides a fun and delicious opportunity for the Freeport community.
This is FreePod for February 12th, 2026, and here's the news that you've been missing.
The Freeport Fire Department announced a slew of promotions this month. Starting from the top of the department, Tom Cordy was sworn in as the new chief of the Freeport Fire Department on February 2nd. Cordy was named the city's Firefighter of the Year in 2018, just 1 year after being promoted to lieutenant. In 2020, he continued his rise up the ranks, being named district chief. And he's been serving as the interim chief since the retirement of his predecessor, Scott Miller, last month. In addition to Cordy's promotion, the department also elevated Hillary Brocious to deputy chief, Matt Kyle to district chief, and Mark McCullough and Chris Brennan to lieutenant.
Last week, we reported on a residential fire that destroyed 2 homes and damaged a third on West Clark Street. And while the damage was severe, outstanding work by emergency services professionals helped keep that damage from growing exponentially. At the City Council meeting on February 2nd, the city honored police officer Timothy Krieger and emergency services dispatch operator Sierra Matthews for their part in helping those directly impacted by the blaze. Krieger was honored for aiding a resident of one of the buildings that jumped from the second story to escape the flames, while Matthews was credited for being a professional and beneficial first contact for those in need.
City of Freeport officials have announced a plan to replace targeted fire hydrants throughout the city in the coming year. In all, the city has identified 36 particular hydrants to be replaced. Every summer, city officials inspect fire hydrants across the city and report back any issues they find. In light of recent events, the city has become aware that some hydrants were testing properly during the summer, but faced challenges in quick use due to the extreme cold our region recently experienced. In response, the city is moving quickly to remove and replace any hydrants that have similar builds, and therefore a likelihood for similar problems, to the hydrants in question.
The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, better known as OSHA, presented an award to the Public Work Department at the City Council's February 2nd meeting. The award, named the Safety and Health Achievement Recognition Program, or SHARP, was given to Freeport's Public Works due to their operation of exemplary safety and health programs for employees. OSHA gives this recognition to organizations that complete an on-site consultation program, and it gives those entities an exemption from OSHA inspections for up to 2 years.
Pretzel City Area Transit is rolling out a fixed route option this summer, and they want your feedback on where that route should go. Area residents can take a brief, anonymous survey to help the city determine where stops should be placed, along with the frequency of those stops. To fill out the survey, you can follow the link provided in the print version of this story on our website.
The Greater Freeport Partnership held their annual dinner and awards ceremony last week, honoring 10 individuals and organizations for their work in building community and prosperity in the Greater Freeport area. Larry Feiner was given the LeBaron Lifetime Achievement Award for his continued work in multiple community-focused organizations and events in the Pretzel City. Feiner told the audience in attendance that he was proud to say he served alongside all of them. Other notable award winners include Roots and Branches for Business of the Year, Studio Elon for Startup of the Year, Ted Odendahl as Volunteer of the Year, and the Senior Resource Center named the Not-for-Profit of the Year.
In 1976, President Gerald Ford first recognized February as Black History Month in the United States. The purpose was to help us all remember the, quote, too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans, close quote. And building a sense of community, both within the Black community and with the Black community in the United States at large, has become an integral part of that recognition. I spoke with one of the advisors of the Black Student Union at Freeport High School recently about how that club is helping to not only recognize the contribution of Black Americans, but how they are building community for Freeport students. Welcome to another Timbuktu Free Pod interview, focusing on the people and places that make Freeport even better. I'm Becky Connors, and today I'm here with Mr. Julius Lagrone, who is a social studies teacher at Freeport High School. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. And today we are speaking about the Black Student Union, and you're the faculty advisor for that at Freeport High School, right?
One of three is myself, Mr. Stafford Jackson, TJ Jackson. He's our head basketball coach here at the high school, obviously, and Ms. Danielle Jackson, no relation. Those two, they were a part of the program before I was. I came and joined the group about this time last year.
Wonderful. Well, can you tell us what is the mission of the Black Student Union?
The biggest thing we want to do is just make sure the kids have an ability to come together, get community with one another, just some comfortability with each other, discuss issues that they have, whether it be in the schools or whether it be, in the community. Just a spot for the kids to kind of be themselves, I guess, is the best way to put that. Be themselves, not have to worry about cultural differences, not be judged, but also at the same time kind of learn not just their history of Black kids, but also within like the different subsections that's within Black, because every ethnic group, like there is no monolith of anybody, like all Americans are not all like just one American, and there's no universal Black student. So for them to be able to come in and have those experiences, see each other through different lenses, and kind of get an understanding of each other.
And what are some of the subcultures that
there are some who are, say, into anime, or I believe it's manga is what they call it, or maybe they're closely related, both. But they're different. I don't know. That's not really me. Some of us, we come from those more traditional, like urban backgrounds. There are some who have, the two-parent household, and the socioeconomic status, it mirrors more what you would expect for the average family in Freeport. There's some who are above that. There's some who are below that. We have some who love sports. We have some who hate sports. We have great writers. We have great thinkers, mathematics, kids who are great with math, kids who are great when it comes to science. I mean, there's a wide variety of the type of kids that you have in any subgroup.
And how often do you meet?
We meet bi-weekly. So typically that's the first Wednesday of any given month, and then there's 2 weeks after that. And typically we meet in my room.
All right. And about how many members do you have right now?
So when I came on last year, we had about 7. Right now, consistently, we're in that 38 to 42 mark.
Wow.
Which is a great growth.
Yeah.
We've had some higher. Right now, it's been a little bit lower showing, but that's because we also have a lot of ACT prep going on.
Oh, yeah.
All right. And Mr. Eiler's running that at the same time, in that same time period. And, you got to prioritize that because,
Sure.
It's huge for your future.
It's huge for those juniors, yeah.
So, the juniors, they have to prioritize that, and we understand.
Well, in the 30s, though, I mean, that's very impressive. I know just from when I was a teacher and advisor for various activities, every year it gets a little harder and a little harder to get them to sign up because the kids are pulled in so many different directions to do so many different things. So that's really wonderful.
Yeah.
And what do you think? If I were to ask one of your students, what do you get out of Black Student Union? What do you think they'd say?
I think the one of the things that they get is just experiences like we talked about before, of not just of getting to know each other, and also having a feeling like they have a voice, right? Because they can approach us. Boy. They can approach us with an issue that they may have with another teacher, and we'll be able to address it in a way that they're not equipped to. It's not that the kids struggle to advocate for themselves. But they may struggle with finding the proper channels to do so, and as a kid, if you're experiencing, you may be experiencing something in the first person, you might feel it as like it's a personal attack. Mm-hmm. And I truly believe that my colleagues are, they have no malicious intent at all, as it comes to, classroom management, anything along those lines. They just want obviously, orderly, everything to be completely fine. So if ever there's some type of issue that happens with a specific teacher, we can talk about it and we can, get that understanding one way or another. And then the other thing is, of course, all our kids, they get to go on these trips. And it's not like we don't take trips maybe every month or so, but just about like last year we went to the National Black Holocaust Museum in Milwaukee.
I didn't even know there was one.
I know, right? Most people don't. We went to this year. We've gone to the Schaible Museum.
I've been there.
That's in Chicago. We're trying to figure out a local college to go to in the spring this year, and trying to partner up also with our Upper Bound that initiative, and seeing if we can get them to partner up and take some of the kids to a bigger college. Just maybe not so local. They take trips there further south, sometimes HBCUs, but sometimes just colleges that are,
Well, and those field trips are so wonderful. Kids remember those for a long, long time, and they can really have an effect on their lives for sure.
Yeah. They definitely seem to enjoy those. I did miss the one last year in the spring, but the one for the DeSalle Museum, the kids really enjoyed it. It was a great time for them. The only complaint they had was that we didn't stay long enough.
As a former museum director, I love heering that kind of comment from
students.
Exactly.
As a historian, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Right. That's good to know.
Now, does the Black Student Union involve other community members, from around Freeport or no?
Well, we've invited community members to come and speak. We've had a couple who have taken us up on that. Brian Shirley is obviously one who's come, again, but that goes back to Upper Bound. We had some who were scheduled to speak. We just haven't been able to connect, I suppose is the best way to phrase that.
Calendars get busy.
Calendars do get busy. We also don't only have Black students who show up to Black Student Union. We have had white students who are here. There's a lot of biracial students. We even had a Hispanic student. So it's, and I don't know, he could be Afro-Latina, or Afro-Latino rather. But yeah, so it's not just Black students either.
All right. Well, thank you for telling us about the Black Student Union at Freeport High School. It's always great to hear about these wonderful activities that you're offering for the students here. And lovely to chat with you. Thank you
so much. I appreciate it. It's good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Loyal listeners of FreePod will certainly recognize the name Pat Norman. As both a presenter and a board member, Pat has provided an invaluable service to both FreePod and our community. But now, Pat's gifts are being recognized beyond what she provides to local news. The Foundation for Northwest Illinois has recently announced that Pat is the 2026 recipient of their Jane Addams Legacy Award. Citing Pat's decades of work fostering civic health through direct action and administrative excellence, the foundation is honoring Pat's service as a reminder of the legacy of Cedarville's own Jane Addams and her qualities of participation, connection, and agency. Along with being a lifelong educator and retired school administrator, Pat also serves as the president of the local NAACP and serves on the board for Voices of Stephenson County and the Boys and Girls Club of Freeport and Stephenson County. Pat will be honored at the Foundation's Gatsby Gala taking place March 21st at the Freeport Club. From all of us here at FreePod, a heartfelt congratulations to our friend Pat Norman. We cannot think of a better candidate for this prestigious award.
In other Foundation for Northwest Illinois news, Sam Schaible has been named the new president of the board of directors for that organization. Schaible, a lifelong resident of the area, is the first person in the organization's history to be a resident of Joe Daviess County. The foundation is excited for this new leadership, citing Scheible's appointment as a reflection of the organization's mission to be a truly regional partner.
The United Way of Northwest Illinois has opened up their grant applications for the 2026-2027 cycle. Organizations in Stephenson, Joe Daviess, or Carroll County who have a 501c3 nonprofit status and serve households that live at or below a designated financial threshold are eligible for these grants. The United Way of Northwest Illinois is specifically focusing on 4 key areas that they believe make the greatest impact healthy community, youth opportunity, financial security, and community resiliency. For the full text of the request for proposals and to apply, follow the link provided in the print version of this story on our website.
An Iowa lawmaker has introduced a bill in that state's legislature that would serve as the first step to absorbing Joe Daviess County and other border counties into the Hawkeye state. State Representative Taylor Collins says that he has had Illinois residents reach out to him to advocate for such a move as they want to live in a, quote, lower tax state, close quote. The Iowa House is unlikely to take up the bill in the current session, but the bill can be reintroduced at a later date. Last year, the state of Indiana passed a similar bill, but without accompanying legislative approval from the Illinois government, no actual change occurred.
The Illinois Department of Public Health is alerting the community to the rising risk posed this flu season. According to the IDPH, at least 100 people have died from the flu this season, highlighting a considerable increase in both the rate and severity, and the highest rate since 2009-2010. Experts are even more concerned when considering that typically the highest rates of transmission aren't usually seen until mid-February. Dr. Taylor Held Sargent, an infectious diseases professor at Northwestern University, says that a key reason we're seeing such a spike this season is due to growing skepticism around vaccinations. In response, Dr. Held Sargent encourages individuals to not turn to the internet for information, but rather to speak directly to their own trusted physician.
To help combat medical misinformation, one local lawmaker has introduced a bill to the Illinois House. Dave Vella, representative for Illinois' 68th District, has recently filed the Combating Health Misinformation Act. The bill would establish a health misinformation response unit within the Illinois Department of Public Health. This response unit would be tasked with monitoring and directly countering misleading health information, including offering grants for public health literacy, requiring health literacy to be added to school curriculums, and employing trusted messengers on matters of public health. Vella says he brought the bill forward due to what he sees as a growing crisis of health misinformation permeating social media. But another local lawmaker, Representative John Cabello, says the bill is entirely unnecessary. Countering that, quote, people are pretty smart and they have the internet so they can look at information themselves, close quote.
This coming Wednesday, the Environmental Study Group's lecture series on the impacts of climate change continues at the Freeport Public Library. Starting at 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, February 18th, Dr. Jack Herman will present on the health impacts of climate change. Dr. Herman is a professor emeritus from the Center for One Health at the University of Illinois and has served on the Illinois State Board of Health for the past 12 years. The presentation is free and open to the public, with time for questions being allotted for after the presentation. Light refreshments will be provided.
The Senior Resource Center is hosting an opportunity for residents to understand space exploration in an exciting way. On Monday, February 17th, the SRC will host science communicator and NASA ambassador Sarah Treadwell for a presentation titled Back to the Moon, Artemis II and What It Means for All of Us. Treadwell will speak to the audience about the upcoming Artemis II mission, which will see a crewed journey navigate around the moon for the first time in 50 years. The mission is part of NASA's bigger plans to ultimately send human missions to Mars. The presentation starts at 11 a.m. on the 17th, and while the event is free, seating is limited. To reserve your spot, please call the SRC directly. You can find that phone number in the print version of this story on our website.
This year's Arctic Ale and Art Walk is drawing near, and the Greater Freeport Partnership wants everyone to feel welcome exploring the downtown event. The walk starts at noon and goes to 4 p.m. on Saturday, February 28th, and will feature 17 businesses with local artists and samples of locally produced beers in their shops. Tasting cups will be available at the Greater Freeport Partnership office, where you will also get your event wristband and a list of participating locations. Tasting cups cost $10 a piece. But even if beer is not your thing, you can still participate. Along with local breweries, several locations will also have non-alcoholic drink options available. And of course, the art showings are there for Freeporters of all ages. Main Street Manager Katie Jentz told us that it is volunteers' passion that really drives the event.
We have a wonderful committee that we have for Art to Gale and Art Walk. Jamie Elliott from, I'm sure everybody knows her husband, Josh Elliott. So she has a lot of connections and she does so much with art. I mean, she used to work at the school, art, she had a store downtown. So she has a lot of connections to help us with artists. And then, of course, Tim Connors, he loves the ale. Not only does he do Brewfest, but he also helps us with this event too. So two very passionate volunteers that do these events for us. And it's their passion already for art and beer, and they help us. So it makes it so much easier on everybody. And there's not much they have to do. They're there to help you.
To register for the event, follow the link provided in the print version of this story.
Before we close out this week's podcast, we remind you to check out the special weekly interview we posted this past Tuesday. Pretzel City Barbershop has been operating in downtown Freeport for more than 2 years now, and Tim Connors spoke with owner-operator James Rivas to find out more about how the shop is keeping alive the legacy of both barbering and the cultural impact of downtown barbershops.
This coming Tuesday, Alan Wenzel presents a conversation with Beth Johnson from the Regional Office of Education. Beth spoke to us about the Family Enrichment Program that the ROE offers and how it can benefit families throughout Stevenson and Joe Daviess County. That interview will be available starting at noon on Tuesday, February 17th. You can find it and all of our other interviews on our website, www.freepod.org, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
We'd also like to thank our community liaisons and reporters for providing pivotal content for our program. Our partners at WNIJ in DeKalb for helping to share FreePod to a larger community, and the Mass Communication Department at Highland Community College for producing this podcast.
As always, please like us on Facebook, subscribe on the podcast platform of your choice, and share with your friends. If you'd like to make a tax-deductible contribution to support local news content, please visit our website at www.freepod.org.
This has been FreePod. Thank you for listening.